I am here with Tim and his daughter, Bella. So, Tim is our quarter 1 Accelerate winner. Tell us a little bit about your Sharetown journey, how you got started.
Well, I actually at the time when I found out about Share Time, I was a driver for an organization that handles probably most of the transportation issues for the organ transplant system. We cover like an eight state region. So I did a lot of driving, sometimes 12, 14, 16 hours of just straight driving. And I got tired of radio, started listening to podcasts. There was a podcast on side gigs. So I listened to that. Most of the stuff that was on there was just, I want to say money scams, but they were just scams. But she'd mentioned ShareCat, and I was like, well, that sounds pretty interesting. So I just made a quick note of it, got to my destination and looked it up. I was like, that looks pretty legit. So I made a few contacts, did a little research, and here we are.
Awesome. Okay, so how long have you been a rep for then?
About a year and a half, I would say.
Yeah, close to about a year and a half, a little over.
Okay, awesome. Wow, so only a year and a half in, and you straight out the gate became a global winner for the first race. That's really good. It's great to watch you guys race and just keep going for it. What was your reaction when you realized you won, that you were the quarter 1 winner?
Probably more surprised than anybody else in the Sharetown community. When you all first went live with the program, I was like, you got to be kidding! Something's got to be wrong. I shouldn't be that far up on the leaderboard. And I was like, started looking back at my sales, and I was like, well, maybe I am. So it was a big surprise to me, and I think it was to
That's
you
really
too.
sad.
Yeah, it was when I told my family, and they were like, "You what?"
I mean, because we live like in a suburban area. I thought, people like in Columbus or like, New York or something like a metropolitan area would have like bigger sales and would be higher
Exactly.
up.
Yeah.
So,
Right. So it was just a shock for you. It's not something you necessarily set out to win. It just happened naturally through your results.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, now that the program is ongoing, it's given me more of a drive to push a little harder,
Yeah.
push a little further. So yeah, the competition is. I'm not a very competitive person since quarter 1. Yeah, I really like the competition. I think it's fun.
Yeah, you grew about $20,000 over for your baseline, so your total growth. So that's insane results. You guys are killing it though. You got to tell us a little bit about your secret sauce, if you will. So what's helping you stay motivated as you keep going and making those sales?
Dude.
it's just people always need a mattress. And we have some friends really, asked about the mattress originally and then kind of just naturally grew on its own, I think.
Yeah. Word of mouth
Yeah.
for us is just huge. Repeat customers,
Like,
I'll follow up even after we sell. I follow up with them. Say, hey, did it work out like you'd hoped? Is it firm? Is it too firm? Is it too soft for you? 99% of the time, they love it. And the other times, I've had a couple who's like, well, it's a little softer than what I thought. Of course, I encourage them to try it before they buy it. There's been a couple times they're like, yeah, it's a little softer than what I thought, a little more firm, and they end up passing it along to a family member, and they come back and getting another one. So I mean, it's just been phenomenal. It really has. As far as the secret sauce, follow-ups and follow-throughs. Really,
Yeah.
repeat customers, following up with repeat customers.
just like clear communication between customers and the rep,
Yeah.
making sure that they have what they need, they understand the prices and the condition they're getting of the mattress.
Right.
So
Yeah. So it sounds like you're really driving with that like community honesty first and just making sure that
Absolutely.
you're having those conversations. Even if that means they don't buy something right then and there, maybe they come back or a family member comes back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've had people mention that quite a bit. Like, I really appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
You didn't give us any false expectations. You didn't lead us on. You didn't try to bait and switch. You didn't try any of that salesman stuff. I'm just open. Both of us were just open, honest up front. Like, this is what we have. It's, if it has any kind of imperfections, we tell them up front. We don't wait till they get here and, oh, well, sorry, I didn't see this. I don't do that kind of stuff. I tell them up front when they get here, they know what they're.
Yeah. They know what to expect. Yeah. They know what's coming. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So what's your 9 to 5? What do you do full time?
Well, I was in the IT world. I worked for a medical center for 25 years, and then I got laid off from that due to, well, it was through COVID. COVID cut our workforce back, so I went into some temporary positions with a high department of a high department of education. Then I went into, I mentioned the transplant system within all the transport for the transplant system. So I still do that, but it's not very often now. So this Sharetown has grew just from our garage into now I'm getting ready to build a 2,500 square foot building to house it. Yeah. So it's just that in itself is huge for us as far as an income goes. And then Belle and I, we just recently signed, was it last week?
2 weeks ago.
Two weeks ago, we just signed on the purchase of a laundromat here in the area in here at South Point. So that's going to be our 9 to 5 along with Sharetown. So
Wow. Okay. So you
the rest
guys
of
are
the week.
busy. You're opening a new business. You're
Mhm.
building a bigger storage facility for your Sharetown side hustle. So how do you guys balance, doing the pickups, cleaning the items, getting them sold, dealing with the customers? Have you found like a good system that works for you guys to prioritize your time in between there?
We do, and also want to mention she works. She has
I work at
a
Starbucks.
she works at Starbucks, so
Awesome.
she keeps
I love
busy
me
with
some
that as
Starbucks.
well.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's very good.
Communication with on pickups, we pretty much leave it up to the customer. We just as soon as I get that pickup order, start communicating with them right away. That way, their schedule aligns with my schedule, and
My schedule.
yeah, with hers. We get those aligned, and then get it as quick as possible. Get it back here to I call it my shop, but get it back here to where we sanitize it, wrap it, and process all we need to get it listed. So we just do it as fast as we can, and
Yeah.
to get it on the market.
And out of the customer's hands.
Yeah.
Smart, smart. Yeah, the faster it's up there on Facebook, Marketplace, or anywhere else you're going to be posting it, the faster you get that money in your pocket. So,
Right.
yeah, I love.
I've got people who I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've got people who watch my Facebook specifically. If they know if they need something, a mattress, or if they have a friend who needs a mattress, they'll follow my Facebook posting listings, and they'll jump right on it. So
That's awesome.
that's why I get it listed out there. We get it listed out there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. So they're looking to see if you have new inventory. Have they bought from you before then? So they're returning customers?
Yeah, we get a lot of return
Yeah.
customers.
For siblings, especially families with siblings.
Yeah.
Yes, that's our probably most popular.
Yeah, word of mouth is really huge. You give one customer that really great experience, and they're going to be at a family dinner or whatever, and someone says, I need this, and they're like, hey, we've got a guy for that. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely.
Do you have any other Facebook Marketplace tips that you think would be good just to spread the word, or something you found that really works for you?
Nothing really other than that's been mentioned on live events that you'll have had. Just following up as quickly as possible, list and relist. If something hasn't caught very much traction out there, we delete it, repost it, and just keep after it.
Yeah. Do you believe that everything sells eventually, or do you think some things are a little bit, I don't know, like harder? Or what have you seen in your experience?
Actually, just 15 minutes before we logged in with you, I sold a mattress that I'd had for almost a year. It was a Casper compacted, and yeah, but everything sells. I don't think I've had anything that hasn't. So
Right.
Yeah.
I've had one or two that I've had for quite some time, just very low end, and just at least
Basic.
yeah, a very basic mattress. But there's been probably maybe 3. I just ended up purchasing myself and then donating to homeless shelters. We've done that a couple times. So but yeah, everything does sell.
Yeah.
It might take some time, but there's a market for that mattress somewhere. Somebody wants it. They just got to find the connection. So
Yeah, there's a need in some
Yeah.
place somewhere. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that you've taken some of them and donated them. I think that's, one of the best things you can do with your connections of having this inventory is really being able to help those who are in need, or who, have lost it due to natural disasters or what have you. I've had a couple experiences like that myself, and I've just been grateful that I have the ability to get those things to people that need them in their time of need. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
awesome. And really, not that that's why we do it, but then also at the end of the day, that word of mouth again, drive that point home. It does go a long way. They remember and
Yeah.
they know that you've got that stuff. So
Right.
that's awesome. Yeah, if you had to start over with zero sales history, just go back to the very beginning, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently, or what would you do first? Kind of give us an idea of things you've learned, I guess, throughout the process.
Definitely getting mattress bags, like the blue ones, with the handles, and then also straps,
Oh,
like for folding them and getting them fitting in the truck.
Yeah, we get a lot of people who say, "Well, I can't buy it. I don't have a truck, but they have an SUV or a van." I'm like, "Well, we can fold it up for you. It's in a clear plastic mattress bag, and we just buy those cheap straps and give it to them with the mattress, and we double them, strap them and people really appreciate that once they see that
Yeah.
they can fit in a van or whatever. So we would have started that right out of the gate. We probably 4 months ago we were a little bit late at discovering, hey, yeah, it works better rather than trying to fold it and tape it. the tape just doesn't seem to hold, but the straps work really well. And she had mentioned the
Right.
transport bags, the big blue transport bags. Those are we should have used those straight out of the gate as well, but we waited just a little bit before we
Yeah.
purchased those. And they're phenomenal. I wouldn't want to try to move mattresses, especially the big purple mattresses
Without them. Oh.
without them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have educated myself quicker on the mattresses that we do have. They when somebody comes in, if somebody calls or messages says, "Yeah, I'd like to see this mattress." I'm like, "Okay, set up a time. That's great." Educate myself a little bit more on the mattress because when they come in, they're going to ask questions, and I want to be prepared. I am now. We are, and she's
Yeah.
especially is. But
Yeah.
when we first started, I didn't do that, and I should have. So
Right. No, I get that. I definitely think you do get to know the longer you are here and the more you experience, you do get to know them a little bit better. So that
right,
experience does help. But it is hard right out the gate. And I couldn't agree more with you on the blue tarp bags. I'm all about folding a mattress and lifting it with the plastic, but on some of those heavier ones, it is so beneficial to have that blue tarp bag with those handles, especially when you're moving
yeah,
through some
yeah,
weird spaces. Just getting
yeah,
that
yeah,
grip on the
yeah,
item. Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. What would you say the biggest myth about being successful at Sharetown is that you hear people say?
I've heard that it's kind of a passive business that and it kind of is in a way, but you really, if you want to do good at it, you've got to get out there and put the product out there. You can't just let it
Yeah,
kind of sell itself. You can't just list it out there on Facebook or on Marketplace and walk away. You've got to follow up. You've got to keep after it. So
yeah. We always say doing nothing makes you invisible. And it's so true because if you're not really out there putting in the time and the grit and really just like continuously trying, then no one's going to see your item. No one's going to even know you exist. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So, what one piece of advice you got that really changed the way you were approaching your business? Or did you get any kind of advice like that?
I would say a lot of advice we've gotten is definitely from like the Sharetown, the live videos, like, about the sales, about relisting, being clear and communicating everything. Those videos have really helped us in
Yeah.
developing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are such a huge part of the Sharetown community in general, but especially on the Facebook group. And I know a lot of the reps have really enjoyed your guys' support, especially, Tim, you'll really get in there and answer questions when the reps have them and kind of share. I know some of them had questions on like your storage and what you were doing in that, especially after you won. You were like a celebrity, if you will, in the group. They were like, "Oh, let this quarter 1 winner tell me everything about this." Yeah, and we all loved all the tips and tricks. I know some of them are trying to come for you this time though, but I appreciated that you still were willing to share, even though it makes the competition a little bit more fun that way.
It does.
Uh, do you guys have like a most memorable sale?
We had a gentleman who was a little bit in the rush buying his mattress. He laid on it for about 5 seconds. He came, laid on it. We said you can lay on it longer. Really get to feel and know if you want it. He's like, no, I'm good. Like I want this one. We said okay. We thought that he lived right down the road because he said like I work right across the street, so it won't take long. And he forgot to inform us he lived 30 minutes away. So he went down the highway on an interstate and did not strap his mattress, and we got a text a
Oh,
couple hours later that his mattress had flown out of his car.
Well, he put it on a flatbed trailer, pulling it behind his truck. Didn't strap it down. Like,
oh,
you going to strap that down? He's like, no, I just live right over here. I'm from right over here. I'm like, you probably should still strap it down. He's like, nah, it's okay. Like, okay. So yeah, a couple hours later, he texts, going down 64. Of course, 64 is 70 mile an hour. So there's a big
oh yeah.
purple,
Restore.
yeah, purple restore.
Yeah, no fun. You're like, "No, I really know about these. You should really strap it down."
He didn't,
That's
didn't,
too
didn't want to
funny.
listen. So I'm not going to, we weren't going to argue with him. So
Yeah, I get it. What's the weirdest pickup you've ever had? Any crazy stories from your pickup experiences?
I think our very first actual Sheraton pickup, we picked up a king mattress in an RV.
oh, yeah.
That was definitely a
Oh.
little odd and very, very eye opening.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they got it in there. It must have been compact when they put it in there, but bringing it out, it was,
And it was a king.
and that was our
Yeah,
very first pickup. Yeah, it was a
right.
challenge. It was a challenge.
Yeah, I was gonna say that your first pickup, you kind of already feel like a fish out of water, right? It's a new
Hmm.
experience. You don't really know what to expect. And then not only that, you're in a tight space of an RV with a giant mattress. Was it a heavy one?
Yeah.
It was a king, yeah. It
Yeah.
was, I mean, at the time it was heavy because, I didn't have any strength at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you've been doing this a while, you've grown those muscles. I get that.
Definitely, yes. A lot of people, when we pick them up,
Yes.
they're shocked that I can lift them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I love it. Okay, so you already mentioned that you're trying to build more and keep competing in this race. Are you anticipating trying to go for another podium finish? Are we going to be a global top 3 again, we think?
Gonna try our best.
we have 3 more quarters, so
That's true. All right, so what's one final piece of advice you'd like to leave the rep community with? New reps, veteran reps, any kind of advice you have.
I mean, it's really about teamwork. If you're doing it together with someone else, it's really about, talking to each other. Because I know that we've, had moments where we're trying to really cram a mattress into, like, get to squeeze and fit into the truck or something in the truck bed. And, you really have to communicate and clear about that. And also just with customers as well, communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it be
Yeah.
pickups or sales, communication is just I found it to be key. I really do. If
Yeah.
a customer, I found that the more you communicate with them, and not in a pushy kind of way, but the more you communicate, say, hey, do you have any questions? And if they have a question you can't answer, it's like, give me just a minute and I'll find that out for you. Just keeping an open communication with anybody that you deal with in this
Right.
in this industry is just, I found it to be one of the top things that needs attention.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. It goes such a long way. And I think that like we were saying before with the word of mouth, that's just something that makes you stand out. What's going to make you stand out from the other sellers on Facebook? Not a lot of marketplace sellers are open to communication. It's just like, do you want to come
Right.
get this or not kind of thing. And so, yeah, standing out with all the information you can have and really helping them make that sale. And then, sometimes
Right.
offering that delivery or whatever it is, it just goes a long way.
Right.
So,
It does. I agree. I agree. And there's going to be people out there that try to take advantage of you. And then there's genuine people out there that's like, you really want to help. I mean, I've dropped prices. We both dropped prices to just the bare minimum, because it's an elderly person down the street that we know or don't know. You just
right,
want to help them, and it's just the right thing to do. We normally don't offer delivery, but sometimes you just kind of get that. Maybe I should offer it, So
right.
just you got to
Yeah.
listen to your gut like that in some circumstances. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
communication is what's key.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you both for coming.